Well, as you see, well, as we have discussed before, uh, during the recession, both extended and unextended, man tends to work more. I mean, not during the recession, as a trend, man tend to work more. Married men, but not all men, and they tend to do less unpaid work. So unpaid work time is generally decreasing. That's the trend. Working time is increasing, however. That's also the trend. In general, people work more, basically. Um, and personal care time, as well as leisure time, is decreasing. That's also the trend. Both for that's for men. For women, leisure time is decreasing. Personal care time is increasing. And um, um, the um cycle effect, on the other hand, I look to it. Well, the recession has decreased the total work time of men, as opposed uh, for women there was not much, there was no change. Um, that's significant, and it's because paid work time of men has decreased basically. Although for the extended recession, also we see the unpaid work time of men has also increased. And for the extended recession, we also see the leisure time and the personal care time of the man has increased, basically. There is also a more detailed analysis of these trends, basically, where you see the detailed distribution of time between housework time, unpaid work activities, housework, childcare, adult care, and shopping. I'm not going through them, but you can look to them. So I'm now passing to the next article, which is Critique of Smart Economics. Well, smart economics is basically, I mean, let me get the summary. It rationalizes the empowerment of women by claiming empowerment of women may help their country to develop. In fact, this approach puts a lot of burden on women and girls, and therefore problematic. You can watch the video and learn more on smart economics before reading the critique if you want. Although Chant, as a person who criticizes smart economics, also describes it. The main point is smart economics is building connection between the gender I mean, basically investment in women and empowerment of women and the development. Basically, empowerment of women is according to this is according to the smart economics a tool that will increase the development. As women participate more in the economic system, as investment done more investment is done in women. Basically, it will increase the development. Basically, so it supports female programs that will encourage education of girls, as well as investments done by women, as well as specific assistance that's done for the uh, female members of the family. The idea is popular um, uh, because within the feminists in general and feminist economists in particular, because it provides resources to the women and girls which are normally not available. And those resources are, according to them, very beneficial. They can be used to basically increase, give women more power and increase women's, let's say, bargaining power and women's overall life standards, basically. However, according to Chant, the uh, well, the main idea has flows. First flow is it connects the female the empowerment of women or equality into the development. I mean, it is not anymore a means by itself, but it is just a tool to create development. So, uh, empowerment of women by its, according to Chan, should be by itself a target, which should have create a more healthy society, even if its effect on the development is limited. And as we have seen, inequality in some cases might be beneficial for growth, basically. And if evidence comes that way, the idea of smart economics might basically be reversed, and it could be argued inequality of women and men is beneficial for the economic system. The second problem is if empowerment of women is just done by providing resources for the woman, it fails to change the institutions and overall, let's say, structure of the economic system and the society, with all the hidden rules, and that also created bias for women and prevents women's participation, I mean full participation in the labor force, showing their full potential. So just programs of empowerment by providing resources in that sense actually might fall short. As we have seen, I mean, employment of women, for example, does not always necessarily create a decrease in the domestic violence. So empowerment of women or creating more equal economy might require something more than just availability, just making resources available. And lastly, I mean, it is criticized because it leaves men out. I mean, in many ways, mass attitude, mass participation is necessary to create a more equal society and empowerment of women. For example, when there is recession, I mean, there's a part in Chan's article which says, I mean, when there's a recession and men got out of the job, men just give up and they say, I'm not the job, I cannot do anything for my family. But women still stay at home and work to get the family run as much as possible. So the responsibilities of men and women are redefined. Uh, Women should not take. It should not only be the way that women take responsibilities which previously belonged to the man, but also men should actually get certain responsibilities that belong to the woman. And because of all of these things, I mean, smart economics might be beneficial, but it falls to some extent short. And actually, I mean, according to Chant at least, it should be possible to make the overall equality or empowerment movement by itself a goal in economics, and by itself something that will actually uh, create a better society and a more developed society at the same. Now, last thing we'll talk briefly on the gender budgets. Uh, that's the gender budget. Actually, limited versions of it has happened in different countries, uh, but and in those countries at community level, the effect of the the government budgets on the gender, women and men separately, were discussed, and certain research is done on this, or discussions are reported. Uh, but in Australia, uh, and that's the article of Sharp, Australia at government level, basically. Uh, I believe in 1990s the effect of macroeconomic policies on gender dimensions, different gender dimensions of the economic system, was calculated, both in terms of the specific effect by taking into account the heterogeneity, but also taking into account family effects. For example, well, the fact that state is giving um, more support to the factories that produces, um, I mean, metal inputs like steel, uh, but not to the factories that are producing textile products, was something that is affecting, that is favoring, or that is actually increasing the labor market conditions, labor market power of men who are more likely to work in the steel factories, but women who are likely to work in uh, uh, the textile factories get at least get less benefit from they might get some benefit through stimulus, but they get less benefit from such a policy. So help or stimulus to the steel factory disproportionately benefits the man, for example. Through different channels, these effects on women and men are disaggregated through gender budgeting. Um, well, the um, uh, basically the method that is done in Australia was inside government method, where several departments have taken a part. Although the leading department was the Treasury, which was important because Treasury was also the department's Treasury was also within the framework that determines, that shapes the macroeconomic policies. So the macroeconomic policies could very easily taken into account, be designed at that period, at least taking the gender budgeting, uh, gender effects into account. The bad thing is, of course, well, since community is not involved in this, unlike the small examples of where community itself discusses the gender effects, government's ability to detect those effects from the dimension of the different people within the community might be limited. Different people in community might have different perspectives. Government bureaucrats might not have. Um, and of course, especially Treasury might very well limit its analysis to the money-related data, while some other aspects might be limited. It might have limited ability to get data on other aspects, like, for example, I don't know, time use, differences within the family, for example. So, what is the legacy of this program? I'm leaving that answer to you. Uh, Especially if you're interested, read this gender budgeting experience and decide to what extent this experience has been useful. Uh, well, are such programs in future beneficial? Can they be beneficial or uses? What do you think? Just think about. Evet.